Something is happening right now. It isn't slow, it's not quiet, it's sudden, and it's happening all across the world. There's a pattern emerging, and if the old masters of power knew what they were talking about, well, what comes next might already be set in stone. You have to look at the signals because they are not subtle anymore. You see, control is vanishing. And when control vanishes in geopolitics, something way more dangerous takes its place, a chain reaction. Over in the Sea of Japan, North Korea is pushing the limits, testing a frayed alliance. They're sending a crystal clear message. The American shield, it's gone. Then, over Ukraine, you've got Iranian Shahed drones. Yeah, the same weapons from the Middle East, now crossing into neutral territory. This connects two wars that were never ever supposed to touch. Meanwhile, in the United Arab Emirates, ports are on fire. We're talking about a key U.S. ally, one of the most critical oil hubs on the planet, now under direct attack. These are the words intelligence agencies only use when they are absolutely convinced that something far, far worse is about to happen. The danger isn't over there anymore. And right in the middle of all of these events, you find Donald Trump. The whole conflict with Iran was supposed to be contained, but it's not. It's spreading. And a series of his decisions seems to have fueled a fire that might now be completely out of control. You know, centuries ago, a guy named Machiavelli literally wrote the playbook on how empires rise and fall. And he warned that pride, weakness, and miscalculation, they aren't just personal flaws. No, they are strategic vulnerabilities. And right now, we might be watching his warnings play out in real time. So the first part of this pattern that Machiavelli laid out is how the world begins to unravel. And it doesn't start with a big explosion. It starts with just a signal, a crack in the perception of power. This quote, this isn't just talk. It is a carefully chosen message from Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi. Think about it. Powerful nations only challenge the world order when they truly believe its protector is weak. This statement was Iran telling the entire world, the game has changed. But before the missiles even flew, something happened pretty quietly. The United States pulled its most advanced missile defense systems, we're talking the THAAD and Patriot interceptors, out of South Korea and sent them to the Middle East. And the reason we're hearing? America's own stockpile of weapons is running low. And here is the immediate result. Of course, North Korea noticed, firing 10 ballistic missiles toward Japan. That wasn't just some random act of aggression. It was a direct response. It was them saying, we know your shield is gone. And this is the crucial part. The conflict is not staying put. Iranian drones used by Russia are now crossing into neutral Moldova. Hamas leader Bassem Naim is openly declaring that his group is an active participant in this. And with Israel gearing up for a full invasion of Lebanon, new fronts are opening way faster than the old ones can be closed. So that brings us to the prince's pride. Machiavelli warned that while weakness is a vulnerability, pride is so much more dangerous. It can make a leader turn down the very help they need to survive. Just think about this for a second. Ukraine has years of real-world experience fighting the exact same Iranian Shahed drones that are now causing chaos. So, U.S. military leadership at CENTCOM and NATO reportedly asked for their expertise. But Donald Trump publicly shot it down, saying the last person he needed help from was Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. And right there, that is the Machiavellian pattern in its absolute purest form. A ruler rejecting critical advice just to avoid looking weak. It is a decision driven purely by pride, and as Machiavelli warned us, it's the kind of choice that can bring everything crashing down. So, what do you think happens when a global power signals both weakness and pride? The world doesn't just sit around and wait, it realigns. Allies start to get nervous, and enemies, well, they get very, very bold. You're seeing two very different stories play out at the same time. On one side, allies are backing away. Turkey, a key NATO ally, wants out. France is denying it's sending ships. Even neutral Switzerland is refusing U.S. flights. And on the other side, America's adversaries, Russia, China, and Iran, are openly boosting their military cooperation. Look, these aren't just separate events. When Donald Trump lifted oil sanctions on Iran, that basically handed Russia a financial lifeline. Shortly after, Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, announces military cooperation with Russia and China. And now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is claiming his intelligence shows Russia is actively feeding Iran information about American bases. A clear pattern of coordination seems to be emerging. And this all leads us to the final stage of the pattern. This is where the consequences become totally unavoidable and the stakes get raised for every single one of us. This is where economic war begins. From this newfound position of strength, a senior Iranian official named Mohsen Rezaei has issued an ultimatum. This isn't a negotiation, it's a list of demands. Number 1, America pays reparations. Number 2, America leaves the Persian Gulf. And until that happens, the world's most critical oil choke point, the Strait of Hormuz, could be shut down. So what does that actually mean? Well, the Wall Street Journal warns this could turn into the worst energy crisis since the 1970s. If that strait closes, oil could rocket to $200 a barrel. Let me be clear, this isn't just an economic shock. It's a weapon that could trigger a global catastrophe. So we have to ask the big question here. Are we just witnessing a bunch of isolated, chaotic events? Or is this something much, much bigger? A coordinated test of a superpower, all designed to expose its weaknesses and speed up a massive shift in the global order. And this is what brings the danger right to our doorstep. You know, Machiavelli taught that loyalty always follows power. When protection disappears, alliances crumble. If the American security umbrella really is failing, then the real question isn't about this conflict anymore. It's about the next one. Who's going to go looking for new protectors? And this is the final chilling thought from Machiavelli. The real danger isn't one more. It's when separate conflicts in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East stop being separate and start feeding each other. Once that happens, history shows us that leaders are no longer in control of events. The events are in control of the leaders. And the question for all of us is, has that moment already arrived?